No matter what your marketing budget is, today's episode is for you. We are going to be discussing creating a marketing strategy for low, medium, and high budgets. Hey, lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Bolts. I'm an attorney and founder of Bolts Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Bolts, owner of Bolts Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the Miss in biz.
Let's get biz done. Everybody needs a marketing plan, but you have to customize your plan to your budget. So we're going to talk today about what your plan and strategy should be based on where you are in your business. So we'll talk about a low budget plan, a medium budget plan, and a high budget plan. So we're going to start with low budget. And I've definitely been in the low budget category before. And for quite some time, I was there. But at the time I was there, I didn't really have the right strategy. I was doing all the wrong things. So I hope to take my experience and help you, if you're in that same position, to have a better strategy to be more effective with the funds you have. So the first one, and this is consistently the highest return on investment on every different research tool I look at, which is email marketing. And we've talked about email marketing before, but Rachel, can you summarize for us again just what email marketing entails?
So email marketing entails sending a campaign out to your clients or your potential clients, and it's directly affecting your sales. So it could be something even that's non-advertising to where they're just getting to know you as the business owner. And it can also be about your products and services as well. But research shows that email marketing campaigns have the highest return on investment.
And it's very inexpensive. You can purchase a email marketing platform such as a few of the popular ones are MailChimp, MailerLite, and Constant Contact. For some of them are free.
Yes, you can have a free version. It's not even like a trial period. You just don't have as many options with the free version, and you have a limited number of subscribers. But for MailerLite, for example, you can start a email marketing campaign for free.
Right. So you can start this for free. Once your email list gets too high, you may have to pay, but it's not a huge expense. I think I pay maybe $20 a month for my MailerLite subscription, and I think MailChimp is along the same price point. So it's very inexpensive to be able to send out these emails to your audience. What's another example of a great tool to market your business when you're on a low budget?
Text marketing. Text marketing is the new email marketing campaigns. Anytime that these big companies are having specials, or even you as a business owner, you're having a special, you're having an open house, you want to showcase a before and after that your product or service has impacted, that is a great platform because it goes directly to people's phones. A lot of times emails can get lost in the shuffle. available. But text messages generally always come up on someone's cell phone.
And I believe that some of these same platforms that you can do email marketing on also have the option to do the text marketing or SMS marketing. I believe that MailChimp offers that, and I think Constant Contact does well.
Correct.
So for the same price, or I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of an upcharge to add text messaging, but I doubt it. And if so, it's still going to be very affordable in general. You can now text and email your audience with your ads and just newsletters and other types of updates. So it's a great way to keep in touch.
You can even create landing pages on Constant Contact and on MailerLite. So with whether you purchase it or not, there are additional features that you can take advantage of that can really kind of help you if you're in this low budget category.
And what is so great is that these are really effective marketing strategies, but they're also some of the most inexpensive marketing strategies that there are. But the trade-off when you're in the low budget category is that these are inexpensive if you are doing them yourself.
Yes.
And so your monetary price may be low, but the amount of hours you're personally spending doing these things is high. So if you end up hiring someone to help you with these things, the price is going to go up because you're obviously using the service and expertise of somebody else. But if you are just starting out and you have time on your hands and you're able to do this yourself, these are going to be very effective ways to keep your budget low and still get your message out.
And once you get started, it becomes a lot easier because you can, if you create an email marketing campaign, you can actually use that as a template for future emails. So the next time you send out like your monthly specials, you can go into last month's monthly special template or the last email that was sent, and you can use that as a guide, which will help you save a significant amount of time.
So the next low budget marketing strategy is social media posts. The posts themselves, you can create your own posts for free. We've talked about all the platforms. You're familiar with them: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn being some of the most popular ones, Twitter as well. Just to go make a post is absolutely free. And of course, there are options to boost those posts or turn them into ads, which would cost more money. But when you're just starting out and you're just trying to create a professional appearance online, the social media posts are an inexpensive way to do that.
If you enjoy the Miss Biz podcast but still have questions or need advice, we have some exciting news for you. Join us for Miss Biz Connects. Miss Biz Connects is a weekly 1-hour Zoom call on Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
This is 1 hour each week dedicated to you. We want to meet you and put our brains together to help you grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
To access the meeting link, visit us on our social media pages at Miss Biz Podcast or send us an email to missbizpod@gmail.com.
Join us this Friday and let's grow the Miss Biz Nation.
And really, you have to be posting on social media these days for people to take you seriously. And it's not so much in terms of the return on investment necessarily, but it's about the credibility that you have. When people look you up, 9 times out of 10, they're looking you up on social media versus your actual website. And millennials and younger, they research everything, even before they go out to go eat somewhere. They are looking up reviews. They are seeing what this restaurant is like. So making sure that you have active social media posts on your page is absolutely crucial, and it's free, and it can indirectly bring you business.
So the next low budget, inexpensive way to market your business is writing blogs or articles and putting them on your website. And so writing the article, doing the research, if you're doing it yourself, is free and you're already paying for a website and just adding it onto the website, you may have the tools and skills to be able to add it yourself, or to have your website maintainer to just upload those blogs and articles on an ongoing basis is a great way to market your business. Those keywords that are in those articles are going to help drive traffic to your website and increase the awareness of your brand.
I'm glad you brought that up because blog writing, there's a science behind it to be effective. So if you're going to do it, make sure that you're trying to do it right. Otherwise, it's not going to bring you much traffic because it's not going to be optimized through SEO. So whenever you're making your blog, make sure that you're building your blog around keywords. And then from there, what you have to do is you have to go into like the back page of your website and make sure that you're plugging those keywords in so that you can become discoverable on search engines.
Next is join a networking group. We've talked before about our top recommendation being BNI, Business Network International. I think that it's the most bang for your buck because it is directly based on referrals. It's not, there's one member per professional specialty, so you don't have competition within your chapter, and there's accountability, and we're just huge fans of BNI. But if BNI isn't a good fit for you or they don't have one in your area, Chamber of Commerce is a great one, Rotary clubs, any type of networking group that is ongoing and continuous where you're going to be able to build relationships are going to be successful. And here, the key to networking is consistency. In my opinion, going to a one-time event is going to be less successful than going to a meeting of some sort every week. Because by going consistently every week, that's how you build relationship. And that's what marketing and networking is about. You have to build friendships. You have to build relationships. And just meeting someone one time, even if you have a great conversation, if you're not seeing them again, it just isn't natural and just doesn't happen that you're going to become great friends and you may forget about them and meet someone new. So consistency is the key. Going to the same place with the same group of people. Now, there may be visitors and new people who are coming in. You want to make sure that that's happening, but being consistent and meeting with the same group on an ongoing basis is really critical to make networking effective.
Absolutely. It's just like with anything. If you're not visible, people aren't going to know that you're there or they're not going to do business with you. So like Brooke mentioned, having those relationships and seeing people every single week and being in a room filled with numerous people that can refer to you and vice versa, you can refer to them as well. That's going to be key for building your business because for each connection that you meet, they know hundreds of people. So by being visible, you have a higher likely chance of being able to generate revenue for your business.
So and joining these networking groups generally costs, I don't know, a few $100 to $1,000 a year. And so in comparison to other things, $1,000 in a year is less than $100 a month. It's really inexpensive when you're on a low budget. It may be a one-time fee up front, which may be a challenge for some people, but in comparison with all the relationships you can build, if you make the most of that networking group, it is incredibly inexpensive in comparison to other marketing options.
And you do have options, like even with BNI, for example, it's roughly $1,000. I think it's a little bit less than that. But if you pay through PayPal, you can have a free financing option to pay for over the course of 6 months with 0% interest as long as your credit score is good.
Yeah, that's a great tip on how to be able to afford the upfront cost if you don't have that kind of money accessible. So speaking engagements is another low-cost way to build your name and reputation. If you're just starting out, it may be tough to find speaking engagements because you haven't yet built your reputation as being an authority figure, but offer it up, put it out there. I'm available for speaking engagements. If you make some videos that look like you're a dynamic presenter and you have content that people are interested in, obtaining those speaking engagements won't cost you anything other than the mileage to get there and maybe some lodging or travel expenses if you have to travel. But it is a great opportunity to reach a broad audience without really any out-of-pocket cost to you.
And a lot of times when you're in these networking groups, for example, the Chamber of Commerce, they are always looking for different speakers, or even people that are associated with those networking groups. They have businesses and they're looking for speakers to come and talk at an event. Now, it may not always be a paid gig at first when you're starting out, but when you're trying to build up your credentials and you're trying to get your name out there and really be seen as the expert in your field, it's an excellent opportunity for you to start becoming that authority figure.
And I don't even look for paid opportunities. I am at this point just trying to have people become aware of who I am. And so I need to look for all of those opportunities. I'm not looking to be paid for them. I'm just looking for the opportunity to speak to a crowd. And so it's a great way to just build awareness of your brand and your business. And finally, the last low budget strategy for building your business is just setting those lunch and coffee appointments. When I first started my business, I got on Google and started searching for business professionals that I thought could be we could work together and refer business to each other, and just started calling them and asking to go to lunch and coffee every day of the week. That was what I did. And it's just costs you what you're probably going to spend anyways on a day. It also makes it a business expense. So that's a tax deduction. So, just setting those appointments and getting out there and trying to go to coffee or lunch appointments, possibly daily when you're starting out, and certainly weekly, is going to be a great opportunity to build those relationships.
And I really find lunch and coffee appointments to be the most, one of the most effective, I should say, because when people meet you, it's such a different experience opposed to talking to you on the phone or seeing an advertisement on your business, about your business online. Like, it's such a different experience when you can be in the same room and you can really connect with the person who's in front of you. So, setting those coffee and lunch appointments are crucial. And you can even do this with people if you are part of a networking group. This is what I find to be like step 2 and most effective, is to go from, phase 1 where you meet them in a larger type setting, and then you take it to a second shared experience in a more intimate setting, such as lunch or coffee.
I do the same. When I meet people at events or at networking groups, then step 2 is let's go to lunch. Let's grab some coffee. It's the best way or easiest way to take that relationship to the next level. You don't want to be whack. Cuckoo. We will cut you some slack.
We got you.
You just want to make a big stack.
Ballin'.
Listen to our biz hack.
Danger, Facebook user. Danger.
I've been hacked. I never thought it would happen to me, and then it did. I haven't been able to access my Facebook page for several days and haven't been able to reach Facebook to help me. Here's how it happened. I received an email that said, "Someone tried to log into your Facebook account today at 1 p.m. Was this you?" I clicked no, and then it took me to a page that asked me to change my password. I thought I was changing my password, but instead I was giving the hacker my password. They logged into my account and locked me out. Facebook will never email you to change your password. I learned that the hard way. So be on the lookout and don't make the same mistake that I did. So we're going to move on to the medium budget now. And so these include all the low budget things, but we're going to add some things to it. So once you get to the place that you have some extra money that you want to invest in taking your business to the next level, these are things that you should consider adding into your marketing plan. And first is pay-per-click type ads or Google ads. Those, especially in certain fields, can be really effective at building your incoming customers really quickly. For me, in the personal injury attorney space, the price point for pay-per-click ads is higher than any other profession. It is the most highly advertised profession that exists. So it's really, really expensive for me to do these type of ads. But if you're in essentially any other business, it's going to be a great bang for your buck. It's going to be quicker stream of revenue and phone calls than anything else. There's different types of marketing. There's brand building, which is kind of the marathon. It takes time and sometimes years for people to start to recognize and know your brand. But the pay-per-click ads are a much quicker way to get that phone to ring.
And the Google ads, they can be customized to fit your budget. I remember I was working with a fairly new business owner, and he was like, I don't have a lot of money, but I need people to see my business because it's such a competitive field. Everyone's Google rankings are higher than me. I need to do something. So we set a daily budget of $10 a day. I asked him, what would you normally spend on lunch every day? He said, $10 a day. I said, okay, well, that's going to be your budget. And what we did is we ran it for a month just to see how it would do. And also, if you're just starting out with your Google Ads account, you can qualify for a free $500 credit if the coupon's available, a free $500 credit after you've spent $500. So you can essentially get $1,000 worth of ad spend for $500. So don't let Google ads scare you too much, because you can customize them to fit your budget. And then once you start getting money coming in from those, then you can increase it.
Right. Start low if you're in the lower range of the medium budget, and then you can always increase it once you see the success of it. And Google ads are great too, because you can track the progress. You know how many people are clicking on it. You know there's a lot of metrics there that you can evaluate it and improve it over time.
Absolutely. And it is something that you have to monitor, because keywords that were commonly searched last month may not be the keywords that are commonly searched this month. But Google will tell you all of that. Google will tell you which keywords are performing well, which ones aren't. So it's really important that if you do have a Google ad account, to make sure that you're maintaining it so that your cost per click doesn't get too high.
So the next item to consider in a medium budget marketing plan is paid social media ads. So these are those same ads that you were doing on the low budget without boosting them or putting any money behind them, and now you can pay to get a broader audience on those social media ads. It's great that you can target that audience and narrow in on who your target market is. And you're just going to get a broader reach of your marketing materials and your ads by now paying for them on social media.
Yes. Paid social media ads are highly effective. It can increase your visibility. So if you're just starting out, it's a great way to connect with people who are outside of your friends or your followers.
And when you're looking at paid social media ads, in a medium budget, you're probably going to have to be selective on which platforms you're paying and how much you're paying per month. And so you want to be aware of where your target market is. Still currently, all the statistics I'm looking at, still Facebook is still the biggest of all the social media platforms. So in a general sense, Facebook may still be the best place to be putting those ads. If you are a different type of business, though, where your market is only going to be really on TikTok, if you're really focusing on younger people, or if Instagram is going to be better for you because you're a photographer and you just do photos, certain platforms may be better for you. But in a general sense, Facebook is still the biggest one out there, followed closely behind YouTube. And so that's really going to be the best place if you can only afford to do one. Facebook's probably going to be the best place to start, unless you have one of those businesses that really you need to target just LinkedIn because you're only looking for accountants or only looking for high net worth people or whatever.
And another factor to consider is your marketing expenses can be written off as an advertising expense. And I think a lot of business owners don't they understand that that's true, but they don't necessarily think about it in the moment when they're paying for it month to month to month. So something that you can play around with, which is something that I do with my business, is towards the end of the year when I see that I need some more deductions, I will go ahead and invest some of that money into the advertising for my business.
And the other thing you can do with the paid ads is to build your email list by offering freebies. And we'll probably do a podcast on that soon, giving you the strategies on how to best do that. But just in a general sense, those ads can be used to, number one, drive traffic to your website, but also get you email addresses to add to your email list to keep bolstering that email marketing campaign as well. The next medium budget recommendation I have, and I think this is really underutilized by most businesses, is targeted business gifting. The IRS allows you to write off up to $25 for a business gift, and that excludes the shipping and packaging costs. So you can buy some really cute and effective, memorable type gifts to send out to your clients that will really make a lasting impression. And for example, I send to my clients at the beginning of their case a welcome packet, and it's got a t-shirt in it and a staff phone list with our pictures so they know who all the staff are. It has a magnet they can put on the fridge, I think a pen and a couple other little things. But that's something that they appreciate, and it kind of brings a smile to their face, and it's just a little extra step to show that you care. And then when their case settles, I have another gift that I send them that's kind of a congratulations gift on your settlement. And it just really makes an impression on the clients that you care about them. You're going above and beyond. There's a whole lot of strategies to business gifting that I plan to do a podcast on, but targeted business gifting can be affordable in a medium budget and can really go a long way towards opening the doors towards new relationships, but also building relationships with the people you're already in touch with, your current client base.
And I completely agree with you. One thing that I do is if I know one of my clients, one of the first things that I ask him is, when is your birthday? When is your birthday? Are there any special holidays that you celebrate? And then I keep it in a database so that when their birthday comes around, I can go buy them crumble cookies or send them flowers. Also, I kind of keep an eye on them on social media to see what's going on with their life. Did they lose somebody special to them? Because then I'm going to send them a gift as well. Or is their mother sick? Because then, I'm going to see what I can do to help lift the burden off of them. And really, those thoughtful gestures and those small touches make all of the difference in the relationship, because it shows that your clients are not just a number, that they are important to you, and people are going to most likely do business with individuals that they know care about them the most.
And even if you're in the low budget category, I never underestimate the value of just a card. Sending a card, of a birthday card, as you mentioned, but any type of card, just thinking of you, haven't seen you in a while, hope you're doing well, let's grab lunch sometime. Any type of card that comes in the mail, I think people appreciate the personal touch behind that. And I think that would be a great way to get started on the business gifting, but in a smaller, lower budget way.
It makes a huge difference. I know we received our first fan mail a couple weeks ago from Jessica Taylor, just saying something sweet like, I'm loving the podcast. You guys are doing great. Keep up the great work. And that made my day. It made me so happy, just to see the positivity and the motivation. So never underestimate the impact that a postcard or a card can have.
And you'll remember that.
Yes.
You will remember that forever. I mean, for a really long time. And it will always, anytime you think of Jessica Taylor, you are going to have a smile on your face because you will think fondly of her because she took that extra time to send you that note. So yes, the handwritten notes and cards are really well received and a great way to build the relationship in a little bit different way.
You know we're all about that case, no trouble. All about that case, no trouble. All about that case, no trouble. All about that case.
At Bolts Legal, we are all about your case. Text or call to schedule a free consultation for all your legal needs. boltslegal.com. So another medium budget area, and this could be a low budget as well, or it could be high budget. This one could be customized based on where you are, but trade shows and conferences. And this is where you go to these big events and you have a table or booth and you set up. And the reason I put it in medium budget and not in the low budget is because if you know me, you know I go all out on the things that I do. And so to me, the trade show or conference isn't worthwhile unless I'm making an impact and people are remembering that I was there. And I've been the person in the low budget category where I just showed up with my air fresheners and passed out my air fresheners to everyone who walked by. But I can't say that I was making the most of that opportunity. I had an audience who was walking by, and I could have made that a more memorable experience. And so I put it in the medium budget because I think it's the most effective if you can put some money behind it, if you can make those gifts something that are going to draw attention. I give the example, we might have given this one before, of a Build-A-Bear at a conference I went to, or it was an outdoor event that the city was putting on, and it was, I think, an Easter event, so mostly targeted at kids. And there was a real estate company who had Build-A-Bear set up, and it was and not the brand Build-A-Bear, but a knockoff. They had these stuffed animals that the kids would stuff and then sew them up. And there was a line of kids waiting to make their stuffed animal. And I was just thinking, that is brilliant. They made the most of this opportunity, and those parents are going to remember that real estate company. So that is a great example of how to make a great opportunity out of a trade show or conference. And so I think if you go big and be memorable, then that's the best way to do it.
And if you are in the low category, but you still have a great opportunity to participate in a trade show or a conference, there are other ways to make a lasting impact that don't necessarily cost a lot of money in terms of gifting. So one thing that I see quite often is they will have giveaways. And it'll be like a really awesome gift. And it's just costing you that one gift item, but it's also the experience of the giveaway and the excitement. And if you can make it unique, that is even better. But that's also a great way to add to your email marketing campaign, is by having them enter. Also, contest or any type of games, I should say, that you can do that can create that experience, especially if you're going to be somewhere with kids. Having a really unique game is something that can create an impact, especially if nobody else at the trade show or the conference is doing that. It's going to make you look unique. One thing that we did for Bolts Legal is we actually had a photo booth. So we had a backdrop printed with the Bolts Legal logo. And then I just used my camera on my phone. We had them sign a consent form saying that they weren't going to sue us and we were allowed to use their picture for social media. But then what we did is we had a printer that printed the picture right there. So the person was able to get their picture taken with their family or their friends or whoever during this event and had something to take home with them. And that was something that was relatively inexpensive as well.
Absolutely. So those are some of the medium budget recommendations. So if you are a baller and you're in the high budget category, here are the things to add in. And these are some of the traditional types of marketing that we all were very familiar with before the digital marketing came onto the scene in such a huge way. These are the things like billboards, right? Billboards are expensive and they create a brand awareness. They don't necessarily make people pick up the phone and call you right away. But if they are seeing you on a routine basis and the billboard makes an impact on them, it can help them over time to remember who you are and give you a call. So billboards I put it in the high budget category because they are expensive and the return on investment is low, but it is a way to quickly make people aware that you're there. When I was sort of in the medium budget category, I did do a billboard as one of the first things I did, and it was pretty much the only paid advertising that I was doing to be able to afford it. But I wanted to quickly have people know that I existed, and it did that. There was people all the time telling me, I've seen your billboard, I've seen your billboard. So it created a name recognition for me. It also created a level of credibility is the word I'm looking for. Credibility, because if you have a billboard, people think, they must be, a big deal. So having the billboard created credibility for me and gave brand recognition pretty quickly. But they're very expensive, and really to do them effectively, you want to have a number of them. And so that cost just really adds up. So it's definitely in the high budget category.
And I think it's important to note that your billboard is a great opportunity for you to be unique. So a lot of times when we are thinking about our designs, we're looking at what other people are doing. But if you're in a highly competitive field and you're doing everything that everyone else is doing, you're not going to stand out. You're going to blend in with all of the other people who have billboards on the side of the interstate. So if you can take the opportunity to create a very unique design to help make you stand out, that is going to increase your likelihood and your chances of having a higher return on investment.
Another thing that I started doing recently, it's called Carvertise. There may be other brands out there, but that's the one that I know, which is you can have a vehicle like an Uber driver, for example, or a DoorDash driver. You hire Carvertise, for example, and they have contracts with the drivers, and they wrap the vehicle with your logo and image. And then as these drivers are driving around, delivering their services, people are seeing your vehicles. So that's another option, especially in my town where my office is located. There's only one billboard in the town. And so there's only so much you can do with that. I have that billboard, but it is not, that's all there is. So if I want to create more awareness, it's kind of hard. So the Carvertise was something that I added into my marketing budget because those vehicles can be driving around in the town and people can be seeing that.
And it definitely increases your visibility. I get calls, I get pictures via text, email of people who have seen the Bolts Legal vehicles driving around. People are seeing them. So it really is a great way to increase your visibility. However, I will say that if the Uber driver is not a good driver, that is something to consider because people will call you and complain about the Uber driver.
We've had that too, where they call and complain about our driver and we're like, it's not me. We didn't do it. But I will say that Carver Ties, even though we have had a couple of those calls, they do have a vetting process, and they make sure that the vehicle has to be a certain age. It can't be, an old beater. They've got to have 5-star rating on their driving. So they do vet these people, and we have had a couple of issues, but they try to do their best to get quality drivers. Also, buses. If there's certain demographics that the buses are incredibly successful for. They're huge billboards, basically driving around town. In my town, we don't have a public transportation like that, so it wasn't an option here. But in big cities, particularly, the buses are a great way to also get your image out there. But I put it in the high budget category because it is expensive. The buses are expensive.
Especially if your target market is that lower income level or mid to lower income level, the people that are going to be most likely using the bus, I should say, that is a great opportunity for you, is getting the buses wrapped, because the people who are using the buses are the ones that are going to be really recognizing them and looking out for them.
Also, creating a podcast. And the podcast or videocast is actually, the process itself is inexpensive, but I put it in the high budget category because of the time it takes, really. Because if you're a low budget business at this point in your career, and you're doing all these other things, the podcast really needs to be your focus. You kind of have to choose one or the other if you're in the low budget, because the podcast has a lot involved, a lot of time. You need to be consistent with doing it every week. And Rachel and I set aside a whole day every week to do this. And that's been a huge sacrifice for us. But we're at the places in our career that we can delegate certain things so that we can be here to do this. If I were to have tried to do this podcast 5 years ago, there's no way I could have really been successful at it, because I didn't have the team in place to run the business while I'm here recording. So it is, even though podcasting itself is inexpensive, the time that it takes from you as the business owner is high. And so I put it in this high budget category because it's probably not realistic for you unless you get to that point. Now, if you decide, I'm not going to do all the social media stuff, I'm not going to do all the email stuff, I'm just going to focus on podcasting, then you could move this to the low budget because you're just going to be focusing on the podcast. But aside from that, if you're just trying to add it in to all the other things and you're trying to do it all yourself, podcast probably you're not gonna be able to do it well if your time is divided between so many other things.
It's definitely going to be challenging. If you have a team, it's going to make it so much easier, because there's all kinds of different aspects to consider, from ripping the audio and to, uploading it on the platforms that you're going to be using it, making sure that it's scheduled every week. And then and that's just the podcast management part of it. But then, like Brooke had mentioned, you have the social media aspect of it, where you're going to be promoting it on social media. So it is time consuming. And if you have a team, it's great. Or if you can pay somebody, that will free up some of your time as well.
It's basically a second brand.
Yes.
It's a second brand, a second business. So all of those same things that you have to do to build your business, create an email list, create social media pages, you're now doing it again for your podcast. So it's now 2 businesses you're running and having to do all of the branding and awareness and marketing for. So that's why I put it in the high budget category, because you will need a team either to take over your marketing for your primary business, or a team to take over the podcast. But the podcast can only be taken over to some extent because you're the voice of the podcast. Yes. So that's why I put it in this category. It's not expensive to have a podcast or video cast, but to do it well, it takes time.
Absolutely.
So the next high budget category, and we're getting to the end of our list, is TV commercials. And I'm going to go ahead and lump into that also streaming site commercials, because I've done both. I've done TV, what am I thinking? cable network commercials, and I've also done streaming sites like Hulu and some of those others. So, but it's high budget. It's to get your commercial seen out there, you got to pay a certain amount, and it's expensive. And I personally am not a believer in it being the most effective way to reach your audience. It's very hard to track who's seeing you and who's calling you, and if they're calling you because of that, it's just easier to track a digital click than it is someone who saw a TV ad. And I will say it does create credibility. When people saw my TV commercial, they were very impressed and thought, wow, she must be doing great things. But aside from that, I don't think that the TV commercials really make people pick up the phone and call you.
I think it's really relative to what your industry is. So, for example, Brooke, your industry is kind of difficult because people don't need an attorney unless something happens.
True.
So you have to wait for that specific life moment to happen where people need you. And the chances of them having that life experience and then automatically seeing your commercial is, very slim. Whereas other industries, I believe, do very well on commercials, especially if they're selling products or services and they have a really great commercial that can showcase either the difference before and after, or create that emotional connection with the audience.
If you are a kid's toy producer,
yes,
then commercials work. Because once your kid sees that commercial, you're not going to hear the end of it until you buy that toy. So yes, those work. But nowadays you can fast forward through the commercials most of the time. So I just don't think that they get as much visibility. But if you're on the news channel or sports channel where people are generally watching that live, then that can be a great opportunity through the commercials. But again, it's expensive. And finally, our last high budget recommendation, and you want to tell them that one?
Yeah, so our final one in terms of the high budget category is banners in public parks. So this is where you would have a banner with your company logo, name, any sort of call to action you want to happen. So your website, your phone number, maybe even a QR code. You have it printed, and then you have it placed in either a public park, a sports field. I've even seen them at some of the public schools where they're on the fences. And then there's other paid sponsorships as well.
So these are actually inexpensive to do in comparison to the other things in this category. For example, in my town, I think there's 7 public parks, and I have a banner in each of them, and I think it was maybe $250 or something. It was not expensive, but I put it in this category because unless you are doing really well financially, it's probably not the most effective use of your funds. And so it's kind of that extra icing on top when you're already doing really well, just to add more awareness to your business and of an already successful business. So if you're just starting out and you're really trying to get the most bang for your buck, putting a banner in a public park or a sports, the kids' ballpark isn't going to really create that awareness and credibility that you're looking for. So I don't recommend it at those budget areas unless, it's your best friend's son's team and you're trying to support them. That's fine, but it's just really not going to be the best use of your limited marketing dollars. So I put it in the high budget category for that reason, not because it's expensive in and of itself. It's really not. It's way less expensive actually than everything else in this category, but I just don't think it's the best use of your funds if you have limited funds.
Agreed.
So in summation, I found online a chart that told us kind of the best return on investment items, types of marketing, and wanted to share that with you. We already shared that email marketing was at the top, and that's pretty consistent across the board. So if you're not doing email marketing, you want to work on that. Second is SEO organic searches. Third is content marketing. Fourth, in content marketing, if you don't know what that means, it's basically education marketing, where you're taking videos of yourself or writing articles, where you're giving away informational snippets of, for example, one for me might be top 10 things to do when you've been in a car accident, something like that, where you're giving an educational piece. That's third on return on investment, and that's free, basically. Yeah. Next is pay-per-click ads is the fourth best return on investment marketing tool. Fifth is social media. Sixth is offline direct marketing. So this is not on the computer, not on the phone. These are things like maybe mailers, newspapers, printed ads, things that are offline. And last is affiliate marketing, which is, paying a influencer. Yes, paying an influencer of some sort to promote your product. So hope you find that helpful. Wherever you are in your business, whether it's low, medium budget, there is a plan for all of us. So pick and choose what works best for you and your business, and let's grow together.
We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you, to encourage you, and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltslegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltsmedia.com. Let's get biz done.